My name's John Loper. I'm president of the board of directors of the museum. And I'm going to introduce Carol Dotz. She's our coordinator of these type programs and also our curatorial person. And she's going to introduce today's entertainment. But thank you again all for coming. Everybody in here a member of the museum? Yes. If you're not, raise your hand. We're going to get you a membership. I have to do that. Membership is what keeps all this going. And during the summer months, we do have a Thursday night lecture series. And we've had this kind of, not quite this large, but we've had high turnouts.
That starts on July 10th.
And the first one we know will be Rita from the county clerk's office. She's going to come up and tell you how to find your house in the records of the county clerk. So you can do the research on your house if you want to know how old it is or anything you want to find out who the old owners were. She's going to give us a lecture on how that's done.
Well, thank you all for coming, as John just said. We have a nice afternoon planned for us. We're going to start first with with Crystal Hines and my new friend. Crystal, come out. Crystal's going to be telling us the story of Harriet Tubman. And after that, I want you all to come to the museum because we're doing a meet and greet. You'll have time to have pictures taken with Crystal in front of Harriet Tubman's balloon display. It's kind of cool. And there'll be book signing. Loretta, will you stand? She's our local artist. She's now on book 2. We've been waiting for book 3 to come out. Angela, keep her focused on that. So we have that, and hopefully, unfortunately, Henrietta Shelton got ill. She will not be here, but we have people coming from Cape May, the Black Voices of Cape May. And are any of the authors in the audience? Okay. They were supposed to be Emily Dempsey, Hope Gaines, and Sherry Hazel, and Yvonne Staggs. You want to stand? Who's there? 4 people. I got 2.
Not Yvonne Staggs.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry.
That's all right.
All right.
We like Yvonne Staggs anyway. And Emily Dempsey should be on her way.
Oh, good. Okay. All right. With no further ado, I pass it on to you.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to the journey of Harriet Tubman. My name is Crystal, but from now on, you'll know me as Minty. I was born in Dorchester, Maryland. I was born to Harriet Green and Ben Ross. Those folks, my folks, they were enslaved Africans. And as they lived their lives, they were at the hands of their master. Everything they had to succumb to was painful evidence of them not having a life of their own. My parents, Ben, Rit, were hard workers. They lived the life of enslaved Africans. However, as they lived, they loved. They loved me deeply. And all of their 9 children, 9, they loved each other a lot. And even as they would continue to love each other a lot, they would be separated from one another. And my father, being a carpenter, he did a lot of hard work. He worked so hard and worked so well that they separated him from our family. So by the time I was about 5 years old, I no longer could go home and give a big hug to my dad. However, my mom filled the spot. And my mom did all the work that she could to protect us from the master's hand. Well, the master came after my sisters, Lina, Sophia, and Maria. And as they went after them, well, my mother lost the fight. My mother, being distraught, of course, suffered, having nightmares, night terrors every other night, she would suffer, and I would witness this. Well, one time, Master came after me. And my mom tried to fight him. She tried to use her words to fight him. She really did. Well, it didn't work. Master got me, and he took me over to this location where I would have to be the nursemaid. I was only 5. I could barely take care of myself, let alone try to take care of someone else's kid. Well, I would rock the baby to sleep. I would rock the baby quiet, and then all of a sudden the baby starts screaming again. Well, what was I to do? Rock the baby some more, and rock the baby some more, and keep rocking the baby. Not before I felt a lash on my neck. The lash on my neck meant I better stay awake and keep rocking that baby. And even still, even though I suffered, I stayed awake because I didn't want another lash. I stayed awake, and this prepared me for later in my years. This prepared me, like all of us have our jobs, it prepares us for our future. You see, it prepared me to keep night watch during the war. I'll tell you about that later. But I want to tell you more. You see, at 8 years old, because I was no good at this work, being a babysitter at 5, they skipped me away back to the plantation where my mother was. I was so happy to be reunited with her. And as I was reunited with her, I gave her a great big hug, noticing something different in the house. Noticing that she was really enthralled with my younger brother. Wondering what was going on. Of course, I questioned, but my mom kept telling me to hush. Hush, hush. You keep quiet. Say no more. I'm protecting Moses. I'm going to protect him. You see, Master came for my little brother. Tried to take him away from my mom, but my mom put her foot down. My mom said, no, no, no. You've already taken Lina, Maria, and Sophia. You're not going to take my youngest son, Moses. You will not take my son. And if you come back to my house, I have something for you. I'm going to bust you right in the head. That's what she told him. And that was the first time I saw my mother resist against this system of slavery. It was the first time I saw my mother stand her ground. I don't even know what the words were. I was just so excited. Well, my mother taught me one thing that afternoon, that I could too fight. I could also resist against this thing called slavery. Well, at 8 years old, they sent me away again. And do you know they sent me away to kill and trap muskrats? Those pesky critters. They're nice and cuddly, aren't they? Heck no. I hated those muskrats, and I think they hated me too. They would try to chase me, and I was supposed to be pursuing them. And sure enough, I would try to trap them, but I was only 8 years old, and I was a wee little lady. Well, even though I couldn't trap them, I knew one thing was good. I knew how to play hide and seek. And I was really good at that. So I hid with the pigs. I hid with the pigs because I knew those darn pigs had a better life than I did. Those pigs were running fat and low to the ground, well fed, and they had a place to stay of their own. And here I am, laying on the mud. Here I am, barely enough food for my belly. So I ran and hid with those pigs, I sure did. And I was successful for 2 whole days. And I ate with the pigs, I slept with the pigs, and I didn't care. Because I knew I was safe, and no one could get to me then. But, surely, I became hungry. And I had to run over back to the master's house. And as soon as I got there, surely, she lashed me, the mistress. She lashed me multiple times. I couldn't take it no more. So I ran away again, but this time I ran back to the plantation. And to the plantation meant more lashes. I wasn't making enough money for the plantation owner. So here I am again, fret with fear. And then, do you know? They decide I should be the cook for a crowd of people. A crowd of people, me be a cook? Well, at that time, I was barely able to cook for myself. My mom was teaching me some things here and there. You see, she learned some things from her mother. Oh, did I tell you her mother's name? Her mother's name was Modesty. I must have forgotten. I have to tell you about my mother's mother. You see, my mother's Harriet Green, but my mother's mother, her name was Modesty. Modesty, she came on one of those ships on the slaver trade. And as she was going on that chattel slave trade, it was actually really painful for her. She didn't know where she was going. And imagine not knowing where you're going and ending up to become an enslaved African. Imagine leaving everything you know behind. And she did that while pregnant. She was on the ship. Maybe she didn't know she was pregnant, but that's where my mother came from. As she was pregnant, she had a baby girl. The baby girl's name was Harriet Green. That's my mom. And then here I am, years later. Well, let's get back to the story anyway. Here I am, come to be about 12 years old. 12 years old. I was the cook for everybody in this room, and maybe some more. And this is the thing, I was the youngest in the crew. So, how old are you? How old are you? 10? You're a little bit too young for this job. Well, I'll just use you as an example. Would you like to be the cook for everyone in this room?
Sure.
You would? That strikes me as different. I didn't like it. So, the thing is, oh, she said she could make mac and cheese. The thing is, well, I wasn't the only person on this job. There was a crew of us. And you see, many people would cook, and I would be the cleaner. I would be the runner. And think about Instacart. Think about Instacart nowadays. I'd be the runner. I'd go get the food. And as I'm going to get the food, in this one particular day, I run into some young man. And this young man, he saw fit to run away from the system of slavery. He was what was called a runner. And he knew that this was life or death. So he ran with all his might. And when he ran, well, I stood proxy for him. I stood proxy by way of, well, that slave catcher that was trying to chase him, I stood right in his way. I stood right in his way. I thought I was doing something really good. So that's what I did. And in that time, the slave catcher was really angry. And that store owner, that store that I was going into, that store owner, he helped the slave catcher out, picked up a 2-pound iron weight to throw it at the young boy. Do you know who it hit? Hit me right in the head. Of course I fall faint. And no one checks on me right away. They skip me over to get to the money, the young boy. So I fall and I'm bleeding out, unconscious. And of course, they whisk me away a little bit later. When they whisk me away back to the plantation, my mother is suffering. My mother can't believe her eyes. And when my mother sees me, she feels that I'm near death. And as she notices the bleeding coming out, as she notices all of this happening, she realizes Master has a plan. Well, I'm no good to him anymore. I'm no longer workable. So what's going to happen? Mother realizes they're going to try to sell me. They're going to try to sell me. I couldn't do anything. I couldn't fight for my life. I couldn't do anything on my own, and my mother was there to help me. So what does my mother do? She bandages up my head. She gets some dandelion root. She gets some sassafras, some pine needles, and she prepares me so that I'm taken care of, that I will be healed. You see, she was praying over me. My mother was praying over me because she was devout in her belief. She was a devout Christian. She realized that if she prayed over me, she gave me some of the herbal remedies that her mother taught her, that possibly I could heal. So, well, I'm still here, guys. It worked. It worked. My mother wailed over me. Now, this took some time, months, I must say. But as this happened, the slave owner was still trying to get rid of me, trying to get some more money, trying to make sure that I was able to be sold off, as I reckon he thought no one would know that I was sleeping. No one would know that I was in a coma. They would just think that I was sleeping. But that was not the case, because those folks were smarter than he was. And sure enough, the sale didn't go through. And here I am. My mother decided she continued to work with me and try to heal me. And as they really were upset that I couldn't be sold, the slave master actually put me at the hardest job there was. Pulling lumber to the shipyard. Pulling lumber to the shipyard? Well, look at me. I'm only 4'11". There's no way. And I was petite and frame in my days. And I have to tell you, young man, how old are you?
10.
10? Wow, this is a great age. Come on over. Would you like to pull lumber to the shipyard?
No.
That's the answer I thought. You can have it. Well, sure enough, I didn't want to do it either. And my uncle, he started to talk to me, making sure that I was obedient, doing the things that I'm supposed to do, making sure that I pulled that lumber without a sound. Pulling the lumber was hard manual labor. Pulling the lumber was making me stronger and stronger and stronger. So, actually, that job helped me a big deal. That job made me stronger for the next things that I had to do in life. Skip ahead. Well, do you know when you're on the shipyard, you're near the water's edge, and all the people that you can see on the water's edge. And I met this guy. He was real cute. I thought he was a looker, and he thought I was a looker too. And so what happened? Well, will you two stand up? I think I know you. Agnes, Hampton, Smitten, like you two. We jumped the broom, like this lovely couple did. We jumped the broom, John Tubman and I. John Tubman and I, we jumped the broom. You see, he saw me, I was an enslaved girl, but he knew there was love in his eyes when he looked at me. He knew that we had a future together. And John Tubman and I, when I was 18 years old, we jumped the broom in a private Sunday go-to-meeting ceremony. And as we jumped that broom, well, we were more and more in love. I mean, I reckon that he loved me more than he could even say the words to choose. And I tell you, John Tubman, he was my knight in shining armor. He really was. For a time. For a time. But I have to tell you this. He was a free man. You see, in that era, if his mother was free, that meant he was born free. So that meant he was a free man. And here I am, an enslaved girl. Here I am, an enslaved girl who wants to become free. So I had to take the sacrifice and leave my husband. I had to. I had to go for freedom. It was a long time coming. I talked to a few friends of mine. Talked to some family members too. Young man, come on down. I was wondering if you want to go to freedom with me, bro. Would you like to go to freedom with me? Yes. He's my brother. He's my brother. He said yes. Come on over, bro. Would you like to go to freedom with me?
Yes.
He said yes. So together we went to freedom. Let's go this way. Together we went to freedom. And as we go to freedom, they realized something pretty swiftly. Well, I know you're too young for this, but he just had a baby. So, because of that, he decides that he's going to go right back. He has to go back. He realized something. He just got married. I know you're too young. So he decides he wants to go back. I escort them back, and I wait some time again. And as I wait this time, it's like my mind couldn't erase it. It's like my thoughts couldn't erase it. I just wanted to be free. So of course, Mom, come on over. Mom, you're a part of the act. Come on over. I really mean it. Come on over. Mr. James, please, I would need your help. The thing is, as I was preparing, I decided that I needed to talk to my family before I left. Mom. Yes. Mom, I know that you don't want to hear this, but I've got to get out of here. Where are you going? Mom, I'm going to Freedom. And Mom, every time that I think about it, I know that you've already prepared me for this. You see, I'm the one that's supposed to lead the people to freedom. I've been having these visions. I've been having these dreams. And you taught me that anytime that I have the visions and the dreams, I'm supposed to follow them. Mom, your devout Christian faith has led me all throughout my childhood. And I remembered everything you taught me, Mom. And I was just wondering, I know you're not going to want to hear it, but Mom, if you just give me your blessing for this one, I promise I'll come back. Yes. I love you, Mom. I love you too. I'm going to miss you. One more hug. One more hug. I'm going to miss you. Maybe I'll take this for a keepsake. And Dad? Yes. Dad? You taught me everything I know about following the North Star. And you're the one that taught me all that I know about this land. And because you taught me that, I know that I'm confident now. I'm prepared. I remember, Dad. I'm supposed to look for the moss. Look for the moss on the trees. You told me ever since I was 8 years old, feel the tree. That's where the moss grows because that's the north side. Then you can follow the trees, follow the moss on the trees, and then you'll get to freedom because you're following the north side. Dad, you taught me about those pine needles. The pine needles, if I use the pine needles, I can put them in a little bit of water, stir it around a bit, and I can drink it as a tonic. It takes away my fever. I remembered everything, Dad. Oh, and Dad, you taught me about the berries. I remembered. Those berries. I take a little bit of berries, muddle it in my hand a bit, and put it on my skin. It takes away skin irritations. I remembered everything, Dad, and I'm confident. But Dad, I just need your blessing. Will you give me your blessing? I love you, Dad. I love you so much. But Dad, I was just wondering if I could have some money, please. Right? And sure enough, her father helps her with a little bit of cash to go her first trip. However, she doesn't have much, so she knows she has to follow to the safe houses. Well, as she takes her journey, she finds some nice, kind people along her journey. And she realizes these safe houses are helping her to become free. First, she has to go to the next location. Hi, I'm Araminta. I know you don't know me, but I was just wondering if I could possibly stay here for a couple of days.
Got a place for you.
Oh, wow. You're so kind. Now, does she know that she's going to harbor a fugitive? Absolutely she does. And she's harboring a fugitive because she's an abolitionist as well. She's a Quaker. And the Quakers were a part of the Underground Railroad. You see, they were the ones that helped abolish slavery. And they were peacemakers. So even though I asked her for some weapons, she wouldn't give them to me. But I did need something really important to cut the bread that you just baked. Knife, thank you, you already knew. So she gave me the knife, and I kept it. Because I wanted to make sure I had some protection. You see, I'm a young lady out here in this wilderness. And the other thing is, She made me some wonderful stew, and then she put some nuts and some berries in my bag so that I have something to make sure that I'm not too hungry in the wilderness. The other thing is, there were quilts. Those quilts, much like you see here, some of them had messages on them. They had messages so that they could tell the story of freedom. Did you know that the triangles pointing to the north, the triangles would be placed on the quilts purposely to show which way was the north. And they would have those quilts in the backyard. And they would also have wonderful things, bear's claws. That was one of the messages. The bear's claws would be a message on one of the quilts. And that would mean there's food portions over by the backyard, but you can't come in. You see, my husband might not agree with this. So you just take those food portions and you be on your way. Thank you. Good luck. Thank you. Well, she Mom, Dad, where are you going? Stay there. You're the baker. You're supposed to stay here, too. I picked you out the crowd. And sure enough, she went on her journey, and as she continued her journey, she thought long and hard where she would go next. And all of a sudden, she realized there's a pastor not too far away. Come on. Yes. Please. She's being shy, the author. Come on. Well, Pastor, I was just wondering, please, would you be able to give me your blessing? Oh, of course. Pastor, I'm taking this journey on my own, but I know the Lord is with me. Would you be able to tell everyone, please tell everyone that I'm safe?
Elementor, God is with you. You will be safe.
Thank you, Pastor. And off she goes. You may have this. And off she goes to the next location, where she picks up something very important. Would you be able to give me some pepper? Oh, thank you. The black pepper. She used that black pepper so that the dogs would be deterred from her scent. She sprinkled that black pepper in the grass. She sprinkled that black pepper all around her. She sprinkled it on her feet. So that way the dogs can't smell her scent out so easily. And, thank you. And then, well, she met some other nice, kind people. Hi. I know that you don't know me, but I was just wondering if I could stay here for a bit.
You're welcome.
All right, thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I was wondering if you could get me something really important. I'm gonna need a gun now. Would you be able to get that for me?
I don't know.
She has one. See, the thing is, she had to be packing because she had to prepare herself for those folks that were on horses, those men that were much taller than she was and much more built, so that she could be protected. Now, those dogs going after her didn't stand a chance when she dipped in the water. When she dipped in the water, that washed off her scent. When she dipped in the water, well, she used that time frame to help prepare her to the next location. Well, she waded in the water, folks. Wade in the water. Wade in the water, children. Wade in the water. God's gonna trouble the water. And then she went off and she met some finely dressed folks. They're so finely dressed she knew that she was close to freedom. So I see that you have these fine linens on, and you dress so nicely. Your skin tone is like mine. You must be free. Are you free? Yes. Well, I want to be free just like you. Can I come into freedom with you?
Yes. Sure can.
Oh, thank you. And I wanted to share with you. These folks, they were in Pennsylvania. I went 90 to 100 miles each way. I I went 90 to 100 miles each way by foot primarily, unless there were some folks that might have helped me out a bit. Over, sir. You see, he said something to me. When I was walking, he told me, there's a chariot, there's a chariot. If you go down past the river's edge, walk over to the left. If you go past the yellow house, you've gone too far. He would tell me that in the air, but he wasn't talking directly to me, but I knew he was talking to me. So I went over and I got that horse-drawn chariot. Thank you for all your help. And I was just wondering could you be the one to lead me? Because if they see me, you see, they're gonna think that I'm a runaway. Would you lead me? Thank you. And that's what they did. They would help out. So many folks that didn't look like me were helping out so that I could be free. And so that my folks could be free as well. My friends, this is what the Underground Railroad looks like. This is what the Underground Railroad looks like. Young ladies, young men, stand up, stand up. This is what the Underground Railroad looks like. Look at the colors of our skin tone. Look at how we all blend together. And look at how we all work together so that we can become free as one. This is the Underground Railroad. Clap it up for yourself. Well, I think I can leave you now. I think I can. I'll be right back. You can have your seats. We're going to sing together, folks. We all know that song, right? You're going to learn it today. He's 10. He said, no, I don't know that song. Swing low, sweet chariot, folks. 1, 2, 3. Swing low, sweet chariot, coming forth to carry me home. Swing low, sweet chariot, coming forth to carry me home. I looked over Jordan and what did I see? Coming forth to carry me home. Of angels coming after me, coming forth to carry me home. If you get there before I do, coming forth to carry me home. Tell my friends I'm coming too, coming forth to carry me home. Swing low, sweet chariot, coming forth to carry me home. Swing low, sweet chariot, coming forth to carry me home. Give yourselves a hand. I must tell you, the song Swing Low, Sweet Chariot means, swing low means you're in hiding. Sweet Chariot means there's a horse and buggy to come pick you up. And to carry me home, well, that meant I was to be free. I'm going to the North States. Did you all know that? No. I taught something today. Yes. Now I can share something else with you. Araminta Minty Ross met a gentleman. Come on down, Jeremiah. Met a gentleman by the name of William Still. He didn't know he was up for this task today. Hi. It's nice to finally meet you. The ladies over there, they gave me some nice fancy clothes, and I'm free now. But I just need the free papers. Mr. Still, nice to finally meet you. Mr. Still, I'm his sister, he can't take me seriously. Will you be able to give me the free papers? I just need you to write down my new name. My new name, well, Harriet. After my mother. Oh, I miss her dearly. I hope I see her again. Harriet had the fight in her. Harriet resisted slavery. That's the name I'll keep. Harriet. Well, I love John Tubman, I do. But when I went back that time, the first time I went back, he had remarried already. Well, I knew I shouldn't have turned back, but when I turned back, I was distraught. Of course. I was in love with him. He was my first love. And surely, seeing him moving on with his life, I thought, I've gotta leave. I can't stay to see this. I can't stay to witness this. So I left again. But I kept his name. I did. Write that down. Tubman. Harriet Tubman. That's what it will be. Harriet Tubman. Well, don't I look fancy now? So, well, do you have those free papers ready for me, Mr. Still? The free papers. The free papers. I'm free. I've got to keep these on me at all times. That way no one can take away my freedom. I keep those free papers on my person every chance I get. If I see someone that tries to challenge me, I pull out the free papers, of course. But if they try to challenge me any further, Mr. Steele taught me how to use the gun properly. And I have it fully loaded, just in case they give me a challenge. And the other thing is, well, Mr. Steele, I love you a lot, but I gotta go. I'm gonna come back with more people, okay? I promise. And she went 13 times she took that trip. 13 times, back and forth over 100 miles each way. And when she took that trip, she found that more people, well, they'd be waiting for her. Pastor. You have more people waiting for me. The young girl over there, come on over. The young boy back there, Iman, come on over. The young boy over there, Josiah, come on over. There's more people ready to escape with me, Pastor. Will you bless them, please? Come with me. Come with me. The young girl right here, bless her, please. Come with me, come with me. The young boy, come with me. The young man over there, come with me. And we escape to freedom. You see, the thing is, freedom ain't free. Freedom ain't free. They escaped with me. They didn't know what they were up for, but they didn't challenge me, you see, because if they did, well, I had my gun prepared, just in case. But no one really wanted to challenge me because they knew I knew the way. I knew the way to freedom. Go out that door and go back the other way. Go out that door. Thank you, Pastor. Thank you. Mr. Still, your job is done. Thank you so much. And I'll end with this. I dance between slavery and freedom. I dance between slavery and freedom. Those thin lines, they are. Maybe my burden just enlightened when I traveled this far. My burden, surely my burden, illuminated while I look at these scars, pushing through and pulling from, simultaneously tearing the veil of those who could not envision this. They could not envision what was to come. I dance between slavery and freedom. Not playing and toying with it at all. I was simply placed there and answered the call. I moved quickly, some say. Some say they didn't see me at all. But my face was always known. His name was Moses. And here I am in the master's zone. They liken me to him. I tried to stop the ride many times, but now it's like I'm too well known. So God pushes me and I answer. God pushes me and I answer. Though my body is weak, never goes my mind, never goes my soul. Though I'm short in stature, always huge in heart. I may not have much money, but my dad gave me a start. I knew how to pull from the ground and search out my seed. My mama taught me that. And spread it around, never going on empty. My spirit stayed full, replenished and restored. Every time I heard my heartbeat, every time I knew the Lord spoke to me, every time I saw the vision, he showed it to me clearly. Every time I woke, I could move my feet. I could move my feet. I stepped on new soil, territory getting larger. And I knew that long walks and talks with my Father, God got me through that. The sky, I seize it. The air, I breathe it. My lungs full to capacity. My skin senses it all. The earth responds to thee. And I am this earthen vessel. When the Spirit says move, we move. What does the Spirit say? Move. Move. We move. Follow me too, for the God I serve shows me freedom. And I choose no longer to dance between these lines of slavery and freedom. I have unbraided my hair. He has liberated my heart. I am alive and living through a brand new start. Freedom ain't free, but I spent my years chasing it. I am no one's slave. I am free.
Wow. Wow, I can't, words can't express. You're fantastic. Well, we're not done. I would invite you all back to the museum where we can chat with Mitzi, Minty, and also have some refreshments and see our authors. And if you need to buy a book and have it signed, we're all here. So if you want to go up the stairs, through the library to the right, and into the museum, we'll see you there. We have light refreshment, some music. I hope to see you all there. Thank you very much.
Thank you.